Hi.
Welcome to Caffeinate Your Career. Today's topic, office interactions. I'm your host, the career coach with the most, Jason Hopper. With me today is my co-host and the sensational Senior Director of Career and Financial Services, Miss Allison Harding.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Allison, this was a topic that we came up with, a few weeks ago.
Right.
It was your idea. And then we got to researching it, and it's a lot of different personalities.
A lot of information
Yeah.
on inner office workings and interactions and how to be able to work with other people who are not just like you.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different personalities out there. In fact, that's part one of today's live stream. Is we're going to talk about different personalities that you got to have in the office, right?
Right.
And the first one is the blamer.
So, when you work with whether it's a small office or a big office, first of all, I'm going to start with interviewing.
Okay.
And the resume. We're going way back. So your resume is looked at by HR or hiring manager or a recruiter, anybody. And it goes on to whomever is going to help make those decisions. And then it goes to the hiring manager, and you're usually interviewed either in person or by Zoom or however it's done. People hire people they like.
Always.
So when you're hired, everybody thinks, oh, this is going to be great because they're going to have the skill and we're going to like them because we all like each other, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
Because you don't know the inner workings of everybody or the environment they came from or what their expectations are. And so sometimes you're a little disappointed with the person that is being hired. Not that they don't have the skill, but they don't work well with the rest of the team.
Right. That's why it's kind of important to make sure and during the interview process, when people are getting offered jobs, what's really happening is the company's making an investment in you, right? Because they feel like you're going to be the one to help solve the problem and move things forward in the organization.
Exactly.
And then sometimes
it doesn't work out.
So,
and there's different reasons why. And we're going to talk about some of those reasons. And then we're also going to talk about some behaviors, not just reasons, but behaviors. So the first thing Jason brought up were the blamers. And those are the people who just never take response. One of the things I do have to say, JFS now has about 120 people working here, 125, including our health center and offsite and everything like that. With that being said, our department, Career and Financial Services, is really looked at as the best department in the entire agency because we all get along so well. And so other senior directors and even our C-level people have mentioned how nice it is to see a department that has no personality problems. And so I didn't hire anybody like me. Everybody's completely different. And yet we respect each other so much that no matter what happens, if we don't agree, we don't agree, but we can talk about it.
I think that's a great point because me and you disagree on stuff a lot. Well, no, I'm not not a lot, but our style is a little bit different, and yet our background is so similar because we both come from staffing, so we both have that. We understand the candidate mentality, but also the recruiter.
Right.
But oftentimes, and this will come up too. Sometimes we just don't disagree. We just disagree, and that's fine.
I mean, we have 7 people in the department. We are not always going to all agree with each other, but we have the respect for one another that we can listen to each other. Important point, listening, and then discuss it and come up with either a mutual understanding or, sorry, folks, I win. So it just depends.
That last part comes down to the senior director of the department making that decision.
And a lot of times I say, you're right. I'm wrong. I am wrong. So I don't always say I win.
So, no.
Thank you.
Not always. Boy, this is going to be
A tough one.
All right, so blamers, it's never their fault. They're good at gaslighting people. They're good at stretching the truth to get you to be on their side because, they're just not going to admit to screwing stuff up.
So this often happens when you have a team project and one person isn't carrying their weight. It's not my fault. I mean, I have so much work to do. Well, we all have so much work to do.
Yep.
No, I was caught on it's always going to be something else. It's your fault because you gave me the wrong part, or I'm not good at that, and you should have known that. How should I know that? They come up with all sorts of excuses.
Oh, that's the word. How did you not know? Like,
it was
I can't read your mind. Like, I screw stuff up all the time. And I'm like the first, I messed that up. Sorry. I do see there's like 18 people watching live right now. If y'all have questions or comments or just want to get into the chat and network.
Or if you're one of these people.
Yeah.
A situation or something that happened, we'd love to repeat
I bet as we go through this, you'll be like, oh, yeah, that's Rob. Because the next one is the control freak.
Yeah.
They want to control everything and will oftentimes insert themselves into situations to try to supervise it when they have no business being in there.
Yeah. The control freak knows everything. This is a person who doesn't ask questions, who wants to take control of everything, not just some things, but almost everything. And they're also the person who oftentimes are not really reliable because they know everything and they haven't asked any questions. And so they don't really know the situation or what's going on, or if it's a report that's due, or if it's a change in the way you do things, all those different things, but they never ask.
Right.
And they want to control not only the situation, but the conversation.
Those people burn out the fastest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and they're not loved.
No. And then, of course, there's the quiet ones. The people that just pretty much lock themselves in the office and don't really interact with others. That's okay.
It is okay. Everybody needs everybody. And they're oftentimes, in all honesty, the people that listen the most because they don't really want to be involved and they don't mind listening. So if you have a challenge or a problem, oftentimes the quiet ones are the ones you can go to and say, hey, this came up. What's your suggestion? And they'll oftentimes come up with really good suggestions. But they're not going to go out with you after work to have a beer or to have snacks or anything like that. They're not going to be on the bowling team. But they oftentimes are really resourceful people that you can rely on.
Yeah. I think that's true. I think when you start talking to them and getting to know them, and then they open up,
it's really fun.
It is. It really is. I was thinking of somebody that hears that's pretty quiet, and man, that was a really good conversation I had with them.
Yeah,
right. It's just
we really do have good conversations with different people here, and there are a lot of different people at JFS.
Yes, there are. What about the paranoid ones? Oh boy. They think that everybody's out to get them. They're hard to work with. They think that they're going to be terminated all the time.
They think that nobody likes them and everybody's out to get them.
Yeah. Those are hard people to work with.
They are hard people to work with because you can't ever get close to them because they're always looking for the bad thing you're going to do to them. And so they're tough to work with.
Can't trust them.
Yeah.
They can't trust you.
Right.
That's the paranoid.
Right. No, I agree 100% on that one.
What about the narcissist?
That one's really a tough one.
It really is because they are always out for themselves. Kind of like the control freak. They are always right. They think that the whole world revolves around them. And
whatever you do with them, they did it better. So if you talk about, I went to the Mavs game Sunday and it was great. Oh, I did too, and we had the best seats. I mean, I can't believe the great seats. They're always that person. They're always going to be one thing ahead of you. And if you're working on a project with them, oh yeah, you did a good job, but look what I did.
Here's what I did.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So it's that person. And the challenge with someone like that is it makes the other person feel badly about their work or what they've done or themselves if they don't have confidence. And so it can really be detrimental to other people.
Yeah, definitely not conducive for a team environment.
Right. And it's hard.
And then there's the optimist.
I love the optimist.
I
love
do
the
too.
optimist.
I think that working with people that are optimistic, who always see or try to see the good in every situation and people as you're going along, it's just like the best kinds of people too.
Yeah, I'm not always optimistic. I really am not. But when we had, for example, when we had the lockdown from the pandemic and we had to go virtual, everyone was like, I don't know if we can do this. But and it was like, we can do anything. We can do this. And Phil started teaching virtually, and we started doing all of our calls virtually, and it worked.
You know, it was also super cool at that point in time is.
But we're here 2 days.
Well, that was not cool. I had the worst start and the craziest start.
He did.
I was here a day and a half, and we shut down. And until we got back into the office, I thought that every time you called, I was going to be fired. I really did. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on here. And then, I mean, it was just hard. But I thought what was cool was at the end of, not every day, but every other day or so, we'd get the group text.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually from Mitch, who started, hey, everybody have a great evening. It was a great, you know what I mean? Just that, like that, okay, this is the situation that we're in because of the pandemic and it sucks, but we're still going to put through this thing. We're going to get through it,
We're going to get through it. So the optimist is that person who always tries to find the rainbow. And I love optimists. I truly do, because they come up with solutions and ideas and they're positive and they want to make changes that will help everybody and they don't think of themselves all the time.
Right. I think that was the other part is that optimists often make good mentors to new employees.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So those are kind of the, we got a message there in the chat. Good morning, Allison Bishop.
Hi, how are you? Tell us how your interview went yesterday.
Oh, Allison had an interview.
I'm sure she had a great interview.
I believe that Miss Bishop has been a participant in our mock interview program.
She was.
And so, guys, if you don't know, we do have a mock interview program. It's practice interview. We do it the second and fourth Tuesday of each month. It is currently all virtual, so you can join wherever you might be.
From New York to California.
And I have one spot left for this Tuesday. Tuesday at 1:00 at Central Time, I've got one spot open.
This Tuesday is next Tuesday.
Not today. Not today. Next week, the 26th. If you want it, you better get on it. Email me right now at Hopper, HOPPER at jfsdallas.org. Put mock interview in the subject line and say 1:00. And if we get too many people respond, you'll go on the wait list in case somebody cancels. That's how we work it.
And people do cancel.
God, don't get me started. But Allison Bishop she's done it twice. And Allison, if you want to do it again, let me know.
And people do it 2, 3, 4 times because interviewing is tough. It's difficult.
Well,
no question.
I have 5 different people on the team. So that's 5 different people that you can interview with. And everybody is a little bit different, and that's what you need because you're going to be going on multiple interviews and interviewing with different people. So come on, do practice interview with me. Mock interview time next Tuesday. Hit me up, let me know. All right, so let's talk about some skills that you need to be able to utilize in interacting with people in the office. The first one is communication.
No question.
We're going to be communicating, whether we're talking, emailing. We want to make sure that we are clear and concise in our message. Also, too, and this is a big one, right? Because people don't think about body language.
Mm-hmm.
Like how you sit, stand, hand gestures.
Facial.
That's probably my worst one.
Yeah,
no.
I could say, oh, that's great. I mean, my face just tells it all. So, yeah, it's not just what comes out of your mouth; it's what comes out of the whole person. And so it and Jason just said an important one: hand gestures. I mean, I talk with my hands, so they're all over the place, which is not really always good. But with that being said, my face also says everything.
It's not good when you're in a live stream or on a video call. I saw one, I'm not going to say who it is, but I saw a presenter once. It was a virtual thing, and it was like the Tasmanian devil.
Oh my gosh.
It's just like I couldn't pay attention to the damn thing he was saying because he was just I'm like, whoa. And even like when I do video calls, like with clients, I try to, limit.
And that's tough for him.
Yeah. But you know what I do? Table manners. Remember table manners?
Mm-hmm.
So one hand on the table, one hand in your lap.
Oh my gosh.
And so I will just start talking, and then I make a point, and then it just in my head, table manners, and I just go back to reset until I make my next point.
That's interesting. You must have gone to cotillion when you were a kid.
And to come back in high school. But you know what's right there? Allison's like, oh, that's interesting. And the look on your face is like,
it's there. Can't help it. When I taught third grade, my students used to call it the evil eye when they did something really bad. And I'd give them a look, and they say, "Oh, I'm getting the evil eye." That look, yeah.
That's the other thing is tone.
Oh,
your tone of voice really makes a difference, because it's not necessarily what you say; it's how you say it that comes across. Go ahead.
I think that you really have to know you.
Mm-hmm.
And when working with other people, you have to start trying to adapt and understand them also and how you can work with them. Because I work differently with Jason than I do with Brenda. And I'm going to work differently with Itzy, who's our newest employee, than I do with Phil. Everybody's personalities are so different. And if you try to pigeonhole everybody in being the same person and try and work with them the same way, it's not going to work. And so that communication skill, that ability to talk to Jason a certain way and to come up with ideas and to collaborate is going to be different than when I do it with Jill, who has a completely different role. So if I tried to do it the same way, it wouldn't work.
I sometimes say things to clients that I probably should not say. But I say it in the tone of voice that comes across, and this is going to be one of the next things that comes up, which is the feedback part. But it comes across not so, oh my God, I can't believe that you just said that to me. But it's because, and that's the thing, my intention is always good.
Right.
I want everybody to succeed. I want for everybody to win. I so do. But at the same time, there's the client has to put in the work to get to where they want to go. And so sometimes it's that tough love, but I do it in a way that, or my tone of voice is not so would be harsh.
So in coaching versus counseling, in counseling, you tell people what to do. In coaching, you ask lots and lots of questions to help them achieve the goals that will make them successful. And one of the things that we learn, I think this is really important. I think it's important when working with other people also. Everyone is creative, resourceful, and whole. And so when you have to give people the ability to be successful. And that's what we're trying to do here. And if you want to work with us, you can. You can call. You left me hanging.
I did that on purpose. You can call us at 972-437-9899. 9950
Extension 379. I stole that from
leave
you.
a message, and somebody from the team will get back to you within 24 hours.
So, knowing that you are creative, resourceful, and whole, knowing that you have the ability to be successful, but it's when we're working harder than the client is that sometimes our manners change, and it shouldn't, because we're professionals and we should always keep it the same. But you're trying to push that person to achieve the goals that they want to create, and those goals are being financially stable and sustainable and happy in your job.
But that's the thing, like, we can't want it more than the client.
Exactly.
And that leads into the next point, or the next skill. Oh, by the way, I meant to, we did have a comment. Melissa Hargis says, when you have to do something new, you really learn what you actually can do. Excellent. Thank you for that comment, Melissa. That's an excellent point. The next skill, empathy. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and look at the situation from their point of view. I think that it is paramount to be empathetic in doing what we do.
I agree. We have the world's changed so much, and with those changes, technology has come to be a major factor in jobs in our lives. And some people do it better than others. And sometimes when you're talking to a client and they don't have the skills needed for a particular vocation that they want, helping them to get there and helping them understand, we can help you with this, but we need to move on, looking at these other factors also. So that empathy, feeling what they're feeling, is really important.
Yeah, it's I think it's something that is hard to do, and it's a skill that you need to work on almost constantly, because it's like, some, in dealing with people, and especially with what we do in client-facing roles, it's not always the easiest thing,
right?
But it is the thing that's important to get to understand where they are coming from to get them to where they need to go.
I absolutely agree.
The other skill that you might need in interacting with people that you will need, conflict management.
What's that mean?
That is the ability to resolve problems between people.
Okay. So there's different ways to manage conflict management. Sometimes you have to just take it and forget it. Something happened, you didn't like it, you weren't happy with it, you just let it go. Don't let it live in your head, because when it lives in your head, it's going to roll around there and get worse and worse and worse. Or you can go to that person, Jason, let's talk about this. Boom, 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 boom. And sometimes the conflict is bigger than the both of you, and you may have to go to a manager or a supervisor to get assistance. But you have to understand that it does need to be resolved, or you have to forgive. Not forgotten, but forgive.
I think that oftentimes conflicts pop up just due to miscommunication.
Oh, absolutely.
And we just talked about being, making sure that you are communicating correctly. If there is a miscommunication for whatever the reason, it's like, I'll kind of want to fix that problem, right? And then also too, and that's coming up, it'll come up in a minute, but the other trait or skill that is important is leadership. It's the ability to be positive and motivate others.
So leadership doesn't always mean you need to be in a leadership role. It means exactly what Jason just said. You need to be able to motivate and be confident in what you're doing and what you're saying. And so that leadership can give other people the confidence needed, especially in a small department like ours. That confidence says, oh yeah, we can do that, even though we've never done it, and there's going to take some training, and we can do that. That leadership shows other people that they too can have that skill and be able to lead in the future.
Yeah. that is a very important piece, is that you don't necessarily have to have the title to be supervisor, lead,
Exactly.
manager, senior director. You just have to be able to motivate others and to want to be able to be successful.
And how do you do that? Next one.
The next one is active listening. Listening is a skill, guys, if you didn't know that. And really, that's the crux of our job, is to sit and listen to other people's stories all day and then make suggestions on things that we think might work. But if you are practicing active listening, it helps definitely with the communication and, curbs miscommunication.
Mm-hmm. So when I talk with my clients, I oftentimes in an interview, you're given that question, give me your strengths, give me your weaknesses. I love the strength listening. I think not many people do it well. And so when you do it well and you do it right, honestly, listen to somebody, you will move everybody forward. The team, yourself, the project, the event, whatever it is. Listening and not interrupting ever is really important. And that was something that I had to work on for a long time, because I always wanted to, before you finished, jump in there. And the challenge with that is, if they don't finish, then you haven't respected them, one. And two, they may change the thought and come up with something different, but you didn't know because you didn't let them finish. And so I actually took a communication class. I've taken two, and learned just keep my mouth shut.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. I'm joking. I was paying
so bad.
I'm in so much trouble after this broadcast. No, I was paying attention. I was listening. That's a good point. And have you ever talked to somebody, and in the middle of talking to them, they start with the next thing, and they're thinking about what they're going to say before you're even done talking?
Yeah. When
the worst.
I was in staffing, my old boss, my mentor, who I worked with for years and years and years, and I absolutely adored, was the best listener I'd ever met. And I would always go in and say, before she finished, she said, "You're taking a communication." I took it, you're taking it. And I did. And that's when I learned a lot of how to manage myself. And listen more intently to what's important to other people. And that's what it's all about. It's not what's important to me, it's what's important to them, so that I can understand and feel what they're doing. It can be at home, it can be at work, it can be at your place of worship, it could be at the gym, it can be out with friends, it can be anywhere. But the skill of listening is really, really, I think, one of the most important assets a person can have.
One thing that I continue to work on is that bit, because I get excited when I'm talking to clients, right? And I'll have an idea, and I'm like, and they'll be like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but how about this? Because I'm in it with them, and it's like, but that's the thing. It's like, you get a chance to talk in a minute, just
let me finish.
Stop. So I'm not the best at it, and I apologize a lot for interrupting people.
But it is important, so that communication and that listening and that leadership all feed into each other. And they're really important to help you as an individual do your job better and be a better person.
Yes, for sure. Let's talk about ways to interact with people in the workplace. The first one is to be respectful of others. Not everybody is going to have the same ideas or be on board with the thing that you are. And also, too, I didn't write it down in my notes, but I was thinking about it earlier, is to be inclusive. Right? Because some people may not want to interact, Some people have trouble with eye contact. Some people, people are just different.
Some people are just quiet, like we
Quiet,
talked about,
right.
or introverted. And so to be able to bring people out, being inclusive is really important. And yesterday we had a really cool thing at lunchtime. We had, was it called Game Day? Game time?
Yeah, yes.
So there weren't a lot of people from the agency, but there were people from all different departments who came. And we had this really fun interactive game that moved like that, and it was fun, and everybody laughed and had a good time. And there's some people that were in there that I don't see very often,
Right.
that I don't have much interaction with. So do things to help other people be included.
Yeah.
And that was one of them, and
Yeah.
It worked. It was really good.
I totally forgot, and then Jay reminded me about. I was like, oh yeah, let's go play game because it's just fun.
Yeah. What's the name of the game?
It's so originally it was called You Don't Know Jack, and then it kind of changed to Jack Box TV.
It's really cool. So if you ever get a chance to look at it, do it.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
It's a lot of fun. Next, build trust. Mm-hmm. If your coworkers know that you are your authentic self, they will be more likely to trust you and know that they can count on you for projects or just to show up. I used to work, I was an on-site manager, and the HR manager at the end of shifts, he would stand outside the front door, and as people were leaving, he would say, "Thank you for coming in today."
Oh, I love that.
And one day I was like, "John, why are you thanking people to come in as they come in?" And he goes, "Because if they didn't, somebody else would have to work a little bit harder to get the job done." And I'm like, "That's brilliant. I like it."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So that building trust doesn't mean you have to vomit your life's problems to other people, just so you know. Keep those at home and away. What that building trust means is knowing that I can go to Jason and ask him to do something and it will get done. So I'm a delegator. Okay. I know other people have better skills at things than I do, and I do not hesitate to delegate those things away.
That is absolutely true.
But I'm not a hands-on manager either. I don't go back every 20 minutes and say, "Is it done? Is it done? Is it done?" Because I respect my team and their skills and their abilities, and my expectation of them has not been disappointed very often. So, and they learn new things and new skills. I mean, Jason would have never done this had we not discussed it, this being the podcast and the LinkedIn Live, that I knew he had the skill and would like to do it, and let's do it. And there was a little discussion. There was a lot of discussion.
There was a lot of discussion of what we were actually going to do, and what happened was me and you and Phil were in his office just talking shop, and I'm like, this should be what the podcast is. And it's evolved a little bit since then.
It's evolved a lot. And, they want to do it once a month and once every other week, and I think consistency is important, and different topics and different ideas and guest visitors, and we just all talked about it and nailed it down and
did it,
and it's worked.
By the way, I do very much appreciate that you are not a micromanager. And in my face, it's like, but also too, you have access to my calendar. You know exactly what I'm doing at any point in the day. You have the ability to go look at that, right? If you wanted to. I also wanted to mention that Itzy is in the comment and said that she feels like a celebrity when she's mentioned on the show, and that's the third time, Itzy, that the fourth time now, Itzy. Oh my gosh, 5 times now I said your name. Glad that you're here and part of the team. She's like right around the corner from me. She's probably sick of me popping in, but she's like, her and Jill. I just, hey, what's up? What are you doing? It's like,
I know. And both of them don't turn their lights on.
Jill doesn't turn her lights on.
No, they don't like the overheads.
I can expect that.
That's
also,
okay, Itzy.
that's the next. Be open.
Yeah.
Right. listen to your coworkers' ideas and encourage creativity. They don't want the lights on. That's fine. They're doing their work in the dark where they can't see anything. I don't know. Maybe they're doing work. I don't know what's going on. But
yeah, that all these relate if you notice. So being respectful, building trust, being open. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Maybe like Jason loves walking. I mean, he's a walking fanatic. So he started a thing at 20 to 1. Our lunch is 12 to 1 usually. At the last 20 minutes, we walk around the building.
Yep.
I brought tennis shoes. So I change out of my shoes into my tennis shoes, and we walk and we talk. And there can be anywhere from 2 to 6 or 7 people doing it. And it's really nice. But he was open that I'd like to do this. I can't sit in the office all day. It makes me crazy. And so we started doing this walking, and it's worked.
I think better when I move. I don't sit still well at all.
Yeah.
I just don't. I have a lot of energy. Feedback. Please be open to receiving feedback. Feedback is a gift. And sometimes, even if the feedback is negative and you don't want to hear it, you need to understand that the person giving feedback wants you to succeed and is doing it so that you can get better.
Mm-hmm. So, some people can give feedback well, some people don't. It really doesn't matter whether it's done well or not. It's the information that's being shared that's important. So even if you don't like what's being said, instead of fighting back right away, which all of us have done in the past, no question, go home, sit down, think about it, write some things down, and then go back to the person and say, can we talk some more about that? It can be, I completely understand what you said, and I want to get better. So let's talk how I can do that. Or, I think I did it right. Can we talk about my thinking on this particular thing? And so that feedback, whether done well or not, is still important for your growth. And that's how you have to look at it. You don't always have to like it, but you can learn from it.
Well, just like, you were just talking, like you're staffing and your boss is like, you're going to go to a communications class. Like, that's a big bit of feedback. You are going to school, young lady, to learn this. It was beneficial, right? I mean, that's just like how everything should be is, you always want to try and improve yourself, the process, whatever. And that's why it's important to be open to receiving feedback.
And I think this program has worked out well because Jason will come up with an idea and he'll come in and we'll talk about it. And then we really give each other additional concepts to it. Sometimes Jason's like, I don't think I like that. And sometimes he's, that's really good. We can build that into it. So those are the things that make teams successful.
Well, the topic of this live stream and podcast, you came up with that topic. You came up with next week's topic. And then the week after that,
we're stuck.
No, I asked Itzy, I was like, hey, so you just got a job. You were a job seeker. What struggles did you have? Or like, what would you want me to do a live stream about? And so we're going to talk about pivoting in your career, which we've done before, but it was like 2 years ago. So it's time to revisit that topic. And that was what Itzy suggested. So it's that feedback. But you was thinking it was funny. It's because he will have the topic, and I create the talking points, all these notes you see here, guys, the week before, and you know what I'm about to say because I can see the look on your face. Allison will come in 2 minutes before and go, I'm changing the whole thing. And I'm like, if Allison's doing most of the talking in the live stream, it's because she changed it.
So I'll look at what Jason's done, and sometimes he does a great job, and sometimes I think,
I think we can do a little bit better
more here. So I'll do my thing. When he gives it to me early, I do it early. When it gives it to me the morning of, poor Jason, I just throw him a curveball.
But it's okay because we do this well together.
Yeah.
And so, I'm able to adapt. And also too, like we jumped around on the notes as well, right? Because the next thing was like have to get a buddy. Like if you have a friend at work that you could bounce stuff off of, and they could also cheer you on. But then the other part was have that we already talked about when you have those difficult conversations,
Right.
because you don't want things to fester. You either,
Right.
what you said, you either forgive and move on, or you go to the
Right.
person and like start talking, figure it out. Um, I want to talk two more things before we wrap up. And the first is like, do not take credit for everything. I mean, you're awesome, but it's also a team effort overall.
You have to share the wealth.
Yeah. So that, and then lastly, communication is always key.
I know we talked about it before, but we just really want to knock it in there, because without the communication, it's not going to get done.
It goes a long way. I would rather have somebody over communicate with me
Definitely.
than there be a miscommunication somewhere down the line.
I agree.
I mean, it keeps things moving at the right pace. So communication, definitely, you're going to need that in interacting.
And finally, if you say you're going to do something,
Do it.
do it.
Yeah.
Might be hard. You might need help. You might have to go to other people for assistance. But if you say, "Oh yeah, I can do this," do it. And if you can't, that's fine. But go to the manager and say, "I really need help with this. I can't grasp it."
Or if you have too much on the plate right
Mhm.
now, I'm sorry, I can't do this right now.
Right. What's the timeline on this? Let's figure this
I
out.
can help with it later. Right.
And that's communication.
And I've said that,
Mhm.
several times. I can't do this right now. I have to
Right.
focus on this, and I can do it later, or I can find time to do it, whenever. And then, again, it's just being communicative, and it's okay, I think, too. Like you don't want to take too much on, because then you're not going to be productive.
Well, you're
Well,
not
yeah,
going to get it done well.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
It'll
be
get
productive,
done, but not
yeah.
not well.
All right.
So, I just want to say, Yolanda Chen said, "Respect goes a long way." It absolutely does. So.
Thank you.
Okay, Allison, we're at time, so let's do the fun question of the day.
I have one.
Okay.
What kind of bird would you like to be, and why?
Cardinal.
How come?
I like the shape of their head.
Oh.
I'm being serious. It's like they got the point,
Yeah.
and they're red. Also, too, our son Tony, when he was younger, we were talking about birds, or we were looking at birds, and we talked about the blue jay, and then the next bird that he saw was a cardinal, and he goes, "Dad, look at that red jay," because they look similar.
Blue jay, red jay.
Yeah.
I like
Sorry.
that.
What is your favorite bird?
So I was going to say penguin, because I've seen like 4 or 5 documentaries and movies, and just the way they live and survive and do things, I just absolutely am in awe of, and I think they're a miracle bird. But because they can't fly, I don't know if they're really a bird. So I would have to say a blue jay, because I love the color blue. That's the only reason. And when my mom came to live with us, she was sick, and we had this blue jay that would come every morning and have breakfast with her.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
We have a bird feeder that it's suction cupped on the window,
Mm-hmm.
and the birds come, and it makes me happy.
Yeah.
All right. So next week, we're doing something completely different. We have 2 guests. Jill is going to be here, and so is Brenda, and we're going to be the third participant. We're going to ask behavioral-based interview questions. Each one of you will answer the same question. You'll have 3 questions, and then we will talk about who had the best stories,
Mm-hmm.
and who you're going last, by the way, so that me and you could just get into it. Who might be moving on to the next round of interviews. And so it could be interactive, guys. If you want to show up and tell, "Hey, we're going to move Jill. Y'all want to move Jill forward because she had a good story," or whatever. So that's what we're doing next week.
And the reason we're doing this is we've had lots and lots and lots of questions about behavioral interviews and answers and star stories. And so we think, we can talk about it and explain it, but now you're going to get to see it in action. And I think it'll benefit many of you. So that's why we're doing it this way, and we hope you enjoy it.
Yep. It's going to be different, but it'll also be fun. So tune in next week. In the meantime, y'all have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.